That's what we say every time.
Hello, check 1, 2, 3. Last time we did a live stream, we used an old Ethernet cable, and I think it caused our stream to be really laggy. Although
hopefully this one's better. It looks better.
It looks better. It's really low quality though. We might have to tether from my phone, because we actually found that to be a better internet source.
Although it's only at 720p, I think.
That's fine.
Is what we had it set to on this computer. So, yeah, we had to also use my old computer. It's a long story. I don't know.
It's just, let's just say this. It's been a really long day today.
And yesterday.
Yeah, and the day before.
Right.
Cool. So I've got the YouTube Live pull up here. This is Cameras and Coffee, and also Cameras and Salami.
Yeah, because we haven't eaten.
Yeah, so salami, oregano, and cheese. What's up? We got C7 Media in the house. Tristan Stokes in the house. Lakeshore Studio 4 in the house. So I don't want to talk with my mouth full of food.
This is going to be hard.
Yeah. I bought a cheap little AC adapter for the EOS R, and that's plugged into the Canon. Hopefully it works.
It seems to be working.
It said that the battery life was all the way down, like totally low, but it's probably because it's just like thinking that it's a dead battery or something.
Well, we'll find out.
So we got 17 people here. Might as well start the live stream. We're a little late. Sorry about that.
Again, crazy day.
It's been a crazy day. So let's just, I mean, the cat's out of the bag at this point.
Yeah, look, it's right here.
We've had the Osmo Pocket for about 2 weeks now.
Here, let's give it a little sound test here.
Yep. I thought it beeps.
I thought it beeped too.
Well, it's not like a Mavic where it goes do 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 do
Yeah.
do. Does the Osmo Pocket do stabilized vertical video? Yes, it does. There's actually a link in the description of this live stream where you can see our official review, and I talk all about that.
Yeah, we can talk about it here too.
Let's just jump into it.
Yeah.
We got 22 people here. It's a great time as ever to talk about the Osmo Pocket. Let's just start out with the standard house rules of the chat here. If you have a question for us, do at Kinotika and then ask us a question, because when you do at Kinotika, we can see it in the chat. It's a bright, bold, yellow highlight, and then we can quickly see that. If you want.
Otherwise, we'll probably miss it.
Yeah, so do at Kinotika, ask us a question. Any question you want about the Osmo Pocket.
Or how it contrasts to the GoPro Hero 7 Black, which we have here as well.
So we have not done an official review of the GoPro yet. We bought it simply to compare it to the Osmo Pocket. So the byproduct of that is we now have one. So
yeah,
we will do a review on it.
Good.
Connor's been bugging me about it for like every day.
Well, yeah, GoPro videos always do well on our channel, so it just made sense. But there's just been so much going on that it was a weird thing. It came at a weird time for us.
Yeah, because it was right when Photokina was over.
Right.
And we had an opportunity to actually buy one in Germany and do a review, but we just didn't have enough time to do that. Although, thinking back on it, that would have been a great idea for us to do that. You know, you live and learn. So here it is, the Osmo Pocket. I have an iPhone 10, not a 10s or a 10s Max. And that is the size difference. You can see there, it's like about the same size as probably like an iPhone 5 or like a SE or something.
Yeah, something like that.
So the iPhone 10 is a little bit taller than the mobile or the Pocket, but it's about the same. I mean, it's a little heavier than the iPhone, but it is so small. And that's the thing that kind of blows my mind about it, is the image quality that comes out of this device is surprisingly good for the size.
In fact, when we first got it and he showed it to me, I was like, that thing's going to be crap. Like,
yeah.
I thought it was a gimmick.
Yeah.
Until we looked at the footage with Sydney, right?
Yeah, we were told that we were getting a new product from DJI. Of course, we were real excited. Early access is always great. We were really, really excited to see this new gimbal. And then this arrived in the mail, and I was like, this is just like a little consumer product that, you know, they'll sell for $100, and they'll probably make $1 million or more, at least $1 million.
Yeah.
But to our surprise, excuse me.
Wow, bless you. It was
Sorry.
a delay.
To our surprise, the image quality coming off of the Osmo Pocket is surprisingly good. I'll pass it off to you.
Oh, thanks.
So we did do a collaboration with another YouTuber called Sydney Diongzin. I'm sorry, Sydney. I practiced this a million times, but the sleep deprivation is getting to me.
He was up for 20 hours and got, what, an hour of sleep?
Yeah, 1 hour of sleep.
1 hour of sleep, then got up again, and we've been editing up until the thing is released. So.
This is all because we wanted to have a enjoyable Thanksgiving break.
That's right.
And so we took the entire weekend off. So that means we had to like kick it in gear the last couple of days.
Yeah, he worked a little harder than me. I was up for less hours, and I
Well,
slept
you
for 4
got
hours.
some sleep.
Yeah,
right?
I slept for 4 hours. So.
So let's get into the nitty gritty, and then I'll start answering some questions here. So we have 50 people here. Hello,
what's up,
everyone.
everybody?
Anybody that's new here, hello, welcome to Kinotika. I am Dave Altizer.
Oh, I'm Connor McCaskill.
That's your cue.
Yeah.
And together we are Kinotika.
Wow, the dynamic duo.
That's right. This is our new studio / living room, and as you can see probably from the lighting, there is none. We're using the window behind the camera right now. I ordered some lights over Black Friday, and I'm excited to get them. There are actually some lights that Caleb Pike recommended.
We also got some 3 really awesome posters. They're like minimalistic Star Wars posters that we're gonna hang up in here. Man, this place is gonna look pretty tight.
Yeah, so we're gonna blast this place with light. It'll look like a real set. It's just, you know, bear with us. This is a new table, so we just got this. So the Osmo Pocket, it's $350 compared to the GoPro, which is $399.
Which was totally on purpose on DJI's part.
Yeah, absolutely.
No way that's a coincidence.
Yeah, I think, and we talk about this in the GoPro comparison video, which I've linked in the description. So if you haven't seen that, then check it out. There it goes. It just turned off. That's the beep. But the GoPro and the Osmo Pocket are two very different cameras. I mean, they really couldn't be... Well, I wouldn't say more different. That'd be like saying an Alexa and a GoPro couldn't be more different.
Yeah.
Like, that's very different. These are similar. They have the same sensor size. They have a lot of the same specs, like 4K 60. They're, you know, both small and lightweight. And they both have really good stabilization, except the GoPro's is built in through software, and it's not a gimbal like the Osmo. And I will say the GoPro was definitely very good, and all the reviewers that I've seen have been true. I mean, the stabilization on the GoPro 7 Black is really amazing, and I hope that that technology will come to my iPhone, because that would be amazing.
It is kind of incredible that they managed to do it. I mean, the GoPro hasn't like changed shape or anything, so it's just all...
Yeah, we'll take turns
software-based.
talking so that we can eat.
Yeah, that's right. we were very hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Hypersmooth, it really blew our minds when we saw videos on it, but when we actually used it for ourselves, it's kind of eerily impressive what they can produce with this camera. But
there's one problem with it that both of us agree on, and it's the wide-angle distortion of the GoPro compared to the Osmo Pocket. What do I mean by that? Well, the GoPro is essentially almost like a fisheye. It's not a fisheye, but it's super duper wide. And they do that so that you can put it on a helmet.
And you're not going to miss anything.
And it captures it almost like you were there. And that's the whole point of the GoPro. But when you're using the GoPro as a camera, like if you're an operator using a GoPro filming something, it just seems weird. I feel like a GoPro has to always be like a POV camera.
Right, and that's why they made the linear mode. But even the linear mode's pretty dang wide.
It's still super duper wide. And the Osmo Pocket, just straight out of the box, like, is pretty much the perfect focal length for a gimbal or what I would put on a Steadicam. It seems to be about a 24 millimeter or like a 35 millimeter. It's really a good wide angle, but it's not super wide that it's like annoying how wide it is. It's also not super tight, and it's annoying how tight it is. So it's a good happy medium on the focal length on the Osmo. You also have a faster aperture on the Osmo. It's an f2.0, and the GoPro is f2.8. So both have the same sensor size, 1 2/3 inch sensor size. Which, by the way, if you know like camcorder history, like 1 2/3 inch sensors were kind of the standard with like Sony camcorders and stuff back in the 90s.
I had no idea.
So yeah, it's like now full frame is literally like 20 times as big as the sensor in that. Anyways, I'm digressing, but
yeah,
our comparison between the two, I favored the Osmo because I was using it as a camera that I was operating. I was operating it as a cinematographer. Connor was walking around the water. I was spinning around him, and the Osmo just created more pretty shots.
Well, let's talk about, because it is great and it is a good product. Let's talk about its one kind of glaring problem that we discovered after watching it, which Dusty brought up. The audio is pretty bad.
Yes.
The audio is surprisingly bad, especially because they put the microphone right here, which is for someone vlogging or if you're operating and you're talking. In theory, it should sound...
It's right by the screen here, right on the front.
Yeah, it's right by the screen. It's right on the front. So in theory, it should sound really, really good, and it should sound better than the GoPro. But when we came back to the studio and we were looking over the footage, it was pretty bad.
It was really bad.
So it was very tinny, no richness in your voice at all.
Yeah.
So I will say that kind of makes it to where you almost have to record separately if you want to use this. You could get a lav mic and attach it to your iPhone, voice memos, and then sync it in post. That's really the only solution, unless you just don't care about audio. But audio is kind of a big deal.
I think a lot of vloggers and average Joe people probably won't even notice. They just will kind of feel it. They'll feel that the audio quality is bad.
Right.
The GoPro's audio is surprisingly good, and that's a huge deal because GoPro's audio usually sucks.
Yeah.
So it's really good, and the GoPro has another advantage that this doesn't have.
That's right.
It has the ability to actually plug in a microphone if you want. You have to buy an accessory. You have to have cables dangling off, and you have to figure out a way to mount a microphone on it. It just plugs into the USB-C port, which is shut right now. So that's another advantage that the GoPro has. If you want to plug in good, high-quality audio, you actually can plug in a microphone. You cannot do that on the Osmo Pocket. But I don't really... It's weird because DJI seems to be marketing the Osmo Pocket as a consumer device. I mean, they did it right before Christmas. They should have done it last week before Thanksgiving, in my opinion. But I don't know what was going on with that. But I guess people are still buying stuff this week. I mean, heck, everybody's still doing like Cyber Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday,
people will
Thursday,
be
Friday.
buying things up till Christmas Day.
Yeah. So you can buy this now. And I didn't know that when we made the videos. But if you go on DJI's website, you can actually order it now. And if they ship it as fast as they did for the Mavics, I would imagine you'll probably get it next week, which would just be insane.
Yeah.
So they're marketing it as like a consumer device, but in a weird way, I see it as like a niche pro camera. So for people like us who are going on the streets and filming YouTube videos, like for example, the Osmo video, we were walking around Los Angeles and we didn't have a permit. We were just using a little tripod and the EOS R. And if we had the Ronin S with a big camera on it, like that looks pretty...
We would have drawn eyes.
Yeah, and walking around with this thing just looks so goofy. Like nobody will ever think you're serious with this thing. And the crazy thing is the image quality, when you go to the maximum 4K mode, the super fine, and you shoot 4K 60 in D-Cine-like, full manual, pick up some ND filters, which apparently DJI is making, and then I think our friends at Polar Pro are also making as well.
I would imagine.
Now you have like a real kind of wolf in sheep's clothing piece of kit.
Yeah. Well, let's also talk about the way that we shoot and the fact that oftentimes we decide to leave the Ronin S back at home because
it's a pain.
It's a pain. It's a pain to carry. And we say that kind of spoiled.
We really only have one camera at a time that we're filming with.
Right.
We might be filming another camera,
Right.
But like to take the camera off the Ronin is a pain. So we just leave it on the Ronin, and then like your arm gets tired.
It gets heavy.
And
you
then
can set it down, but it's a little too short. You couldn't it's not like a monopod or a tripod.
And I like the Osmo Pocket review that if hopefully you guys have seen it. If you haven't, again, it's in the description of this live stream. But I'm really happy with how it came out. I feel like it's really polished, and a lot of that has to do with our composition. We were actually locked down on a tripod, and the composition looked good. I hate it when Connor has the Ronin and he's just standing there and it's bouncing up and down. It just looks so amateur. So I always like fight him on it. But you like the Ronin because when you have the Ronin, when you're doing moving shots, it's better.
Right. So the locked off shots, the tripod's obviously the best option. And you're right. It does look bad. But when you want to move or get any moving shots, that's when the Ronin S looks better. It's a pain to carry both, especially because we oftentimes, we're not, we're always moving around. We're never just in one place. So, yeah, it's easier just to
maybe
pick
this is
one
the
or
solution.
So
because you can literally put that in your pocket.
Yeah, I mean, it's
So here's the case
insane.
that comes with it. It's brilliant. It's a nice little protective case here. It keeps your gimbal safe. And it just fits in like this.
Yeah.
And you can, swing it around your arm or literally put it in your pocket. I mean, this is the size of a flashlight.
Yeah, a small flashlight.
A small flashlight.
That's perfect. Daniel has a question. He says, how long battery can you film in 4K 60? No swappable batteries, correct?
Yeah, so you cannot swap the batteries out. It's locked in there, and that sucks.
Yeah.
I wish they had a release on that. I mean,
the battery life isn't terrible.
It's good.
It
says that it's 2.5 hours roughly.
2.5 hours, 1080p, 30 frames per second. So if you're shooting 4K 60, it's obviously going to be less.
For an hour and a half.
Yeah, roughly an hour and a half, I would say. But charging.
Tell them about the charging. Yeah.
Yeah, charging is USB-C. And you can record while you're charging it. So if you get a power brick and a USB-C cable, you just plug it in. You could have the cord going down and the power brick into your pocket, and you can still record with this just fine and extend your battery life greatly. So
also,
that's a good fix.
I don't know if you. So we've been totally out of the loop because we have totally been just dialed in on our laptops, like going on Reddit, Twitter, forum posts, YouTube, another YouTube, Instagram, hashtag, answer comments. So we haven't really pulled our head out of the water and looked at what DJI posted, but I briefly saw, and I guess you haven't seen this. They have a battery case that looks really interesting. So it goes on the phone. It doesn't go on the device. Maybe I'll pull it up here.
Yeah, do that.
So it looks like a battery case that you would normally have on a phone, but I think it interfaces with the Osmo. So when you plug in the Osmo, it actually charges the Osmo through the battery case on the phone.
Well, I do know that when you plug your phone into the Osmo, it acts as if it's charging your phone, which I don't think would make sense because that would be pulling power away from the gimbal. I think that's just letting you know that it's connected. I'm not really sure what's happening there.
Well, that sound, I mean, it's the sound of it being charged.
Well, not only that, it gives you the charge icon as well. So I don't know what it's trying to say.
I'm going to go to DJI's website. But we have a lot of people here right now. We have 75 people. So let's go through the comments. Can you find some questions? Again, if you're new to this stream, we have the Osmo Pocket here. We're answering any questions you want. We've had it for 2 weeks now. We used it on both. I didn't mention this in the review, but we actually used it on a Google Pixel 3 and an iPhone.
Right.
We were using beta apps. So, like, DJI is not going to release the app for an unreleased product in the App Store. So we were using, like, an app that had Chinese writing all over everything. So I'm sure the real app will be much better, but I really didn't have any serious problems with the app.
It crashed on occasion, but for the most part held up pretty strong. Tristan Stokes wants to know, does it compare to the Mavic 2 Pro? I'm assuming the camera. Yeah, no.
So the Mavic 2 Pro they say a Hasselblad sensor, and I'm sure they worked with Hasselblad, but we've used the Hasselblad. I know what a Hasselblad looks like. It's not a Hasselblad. Like, it's just branding. But it is a 1-inch sensor in the Mavic 2 Pro, and you have a 1 2/3 inch. So this is 1/2 of the size of an inch. So it's a much smaller sensor size. So you're not going to get as much depth of field. You're not going to get as much low light performance. You can't change your aperture like the Mavic 2 Pro. You can actually change your aperture on the Mavic 2 Pro. You can't do that here.
Right.
There's no 10-bit. But we do have 4K 60. The Mavic 2 Pro doesn't have that.
Right.
So there's some interesting things with it. I originally thought that this was the Mavic Air camera because it looks so much like the Mavic Air, but I don't think it is anymore. I really think this is a new camera. Maybe this is like a camera that's going to be on the Mavic Air 2.
It could be the same housing, but a different internals.
Yeah, I think this is a whole new setup, and we're gonna see whatever is inside of this on the next iteration of the next generation of drones.
Sure. Yeah. Definitely.
So
let's see,
I'm
John.
trying to find the battery pack.
Do you want to move on with another question?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
John Doe, good name, wants to ask:
Such a basic name.
It is so basic.
I love it.
Is it good for vlogging? I mean, I think 27 millimeters is kind of narrow.
So yeah, it isn't as wide as like a 16 millimeter lens, which is what the kind of standard is.
Right.
But because the thing is so lightweight, it's so easy to hold it out a little bit further than what you're used to doing with like an 80D or even an M50.
Right. And also remember that it follows your face. So like even if you're kind of like straining a little bit and shaking a little bit, it's a gimbal. So
yeah,
it's gimbal, and it stabilizes that.
That's a deep cut.
Right.
We put it in the review. If you haven't seen that video, just search on our channel VidCon. I am a huge fan of a guy named Jax Films.
Yeah.
You guys, I'm sure if you're a YouTuber, you know who Jax Films is.
He's great.
He's hilarious. Millions and millions of followers. We were just walking around VidCon and he was there.
Mm-hmm.
And I just went up to him. I was like, hey, can you review this gimbal? I had the Ronin S. And he just started going, my hand is shaking like a leaf, but now it's stable because I got this gimbal. So it's a little sound bite. So I'm looking at the accessories now on DJI's website, and it looks like the ND filter set is magnetic. So check that out. So right here on the front of the lens is a small magnet, and it looks to me like the NDs are just going right on there.
That's brilliant.
The battery case is a legitimate case. So instead of using this case, you would use the charging case, which then plugs into the USB-C port and charges it while you're not using it. So
it's not...
no, it's not what I was saying.
Okay, good. I was super confused.
I might have been looking at like a weird thing. So now I'm looking at the waterproof case. These are all things I took out of the video because I had no clue what they were. So the waterproof case, maybe we should make a follow-up.
Yeah, we should.
So the waterproof case, if you go on the website, it's a legitimate waterproof casing. So it's not just to keep it like from getting wet when you're carrying it around, but when you're actually using it. So it allows use of Osmo Pocket at depths of up to 60 meters for smooth underwater shots, detailed close-ups, and clear low-light detail.
Interesting.
So all of a sudden, this really has caught up to the GoPro in a weird way.
Yeah, but just remember that this is waterproof without a case now.
Yeah. Totally.
And I don't know, the case, do you see that seam because of how it's angled? It's not like a dome. It's a circle. It's like a cylinder. So I wonder if that seam would get in the way of your shot.
I don't know.
I don't either.
They've also got a GoPro style mount.
You guys should definitely, is it just DJI.com?
DJI.com/Osmo-Pocket. I'll put a link.
Yeah, do that.
Here you go, guys. Here is a link to all the accessories.
They know what we're looking at.
Yeah. Sorry for kind of rambling here and not, showing it to you. We don't have our ideal OBS system. There's some loud ducks out there.
We're using my old computer.
So, based on our experience with the limited accessories that were given to us, I would probably go with, if you could only have one accessory, I would definitely go with the controller wheel. So we actually don't have it with us. It's in my apartment, which is down the street, and I don't want to run over there. But it's in the video, and it's got this little dial on it that's a really nice little wheel that allows you to change your pan and tilt manually. And it also has two function buttons, and one changes the different modes for the gimbal, so FPV, follow, and tilt lock. And the other one goes selfie and normal mode.
I will say though, I don't know if you felt the same way about this, but with the dial, it is nifty because you can, you know, tilt up and down, and then there's a switch, and then you switch it over, and then the dial controls your left and right.
I wish it was a joystick.
Yeah, exactly. I really wish it was a joystick so you didn't have to, because you can only do one at a time. So you switch the switch up and down, switch it again, left and right. So if it was a joystick, I think that would have been
I imagine it's
better.
because of size.
Yeah, I had to, probably.
And then I would probably buy the charging case too, because I think that's a pretty brilliant design, and definitely the indie filter.
Yeah, so it's essentially this, but it charges it.
So, the little thing is great if you're a vlogger and you don't want to worry about carrying around an iPhone.
Yeah.
And you want to just shoot everything in auto, everything. But if you want to shoot professionally, excuse me, I sound really slurred because I'm so tired. But if you want to actually use this like as a tool for real work, I would definitely connect your phone through the either Lightning connector or the USB-C connector. We weren't able to get the Wi-Fi Bluetooth module to work. That may be good, but I kind of like how clicky this is. It really connects well. The Lightning connector actually is a little bit more rugged than the USB-C, and that really just comes down to the science of the connection. Lightning is just one piece of metal, and USB-C is actually a connection. It's got a hole inside of the USB-C.
Hollow.
It's hollow, yeah. So it's not as stable. But I was typically holding it with two hands because I just never felt comfortable completely letting go and then seeing this fall. And then vice versa for my phone. I would never want to hold this and then
It does feel kind of precarious, but it is fairly sturdy.
Good vocabulary.
Thank you.
Connor has taught me a lot of words.
Yeah.
So yeah, it feels sturdy, and this is really probably the best way to use it because you get all of your settings. You can use a little joystick on the screen here, which is better than
you
the
have
dial.
a screen.
And you have a screen.
Let's talk about. I mean, you have a screen with just the gimbal itself, but it's so dang small. You really.
It's hard to see it.
It's good enough just to tell if your face is centered in the frame, and that's really all it's for.
So if you're a vlogger and you're shooting full auto and you have that little control dial, it's perfect. The little tiny screen is totally good enough for full auto everything.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. DJI durability compared to the GoPro Ajax.
So, tell them about the drop thing.
Yeah, so I'm going to just take it off your phone. So the GoPro actually has this thing. I'm assuming it's probably some sort of maybe an altitude or accelerometer in it. But basically, when it's on, if you drop the gimbal, it shuts off before it hits the ground because this thing is nowhere near as durable as the GoPro. I mean, you could set off a small explosive next to the GoPro.
Well, tell them what happened when we started filming our GoPro review. I went out on the rock. And I immediately dropped something.
He immediately dropped it. Actually, I got it on video, but I don't think we used it. But what did you drop?
Connor.
Did you drop this or this?
All Connor heard was just the sound of something falling on a rock.
Yeah.
And he was like, I hope that was a GoPro. And I was like, it was.
Yeah. Yeah, so, but...
GoPro's fine.
This thing is... I mean, it is ARM. It's durable. We'll say it's durable for a gimbal.
It's very durable.
But it's still much more fragile than the GoPro. Like... You don't have to be super gentle with this.
There's no moving parts on here. It's
exactly. It's a brick. But
and it's all sealed.
If you were to, I mean, you could break this. No doubt.
I'm sure. We didn't, and we didn't try it.
Yeah. We didn't want to, no durability test here. We wanted to keep it so we can do more stuff with it.
But the only reason that I found out about the drop thing, it wasn't in the paperwork that we were given. I accidentally dropped it from about this height from a table. And on the screen it said drop mode. And the gimbal was limp like this. It wasn't firm. So, anyways, I said that for Malachi, but he's not really listening.
I'm sorry, I was reading comments.
Oh, okay. Our friend Malachi is actually right over here.
Yeah, we have a live studio audience today.
And let's give him a little bit of credit where credit is due.
Sure enough.
Malachi came with us to a shoot with Sydney, and he took a bunch of amazing photos.
Yeah.
So thank you, Malachi, for taking those photos. Follow him at The Real Malachi.
Malachi, Malachee.
Can you type it out?
Right? Am I right?
Yeah.
It's
Can you
E.
can you put a link
You
in there?
comment it.
Yeah.
He's Vlog City in the chat. So
Yeah.
there you go.
All right, so Kinotika Steve Carpenter asks, how has the software for the Pocket Mobile been released? I don't know. Let me see.
Has it? Good question.
Probably not, because nobody technically has them because they're just now taking orders.
Right.
But let me see. No, it doesn't look like it. That was easy.
Sandy, could you comment on the dynamic range and colors?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, it's so it's got D-Cine-like as well as normal, which normal is just kind of like the crunchy, contrasty, saturation. Just you don't want to color correct anything. That's the normal mode. But if you want the most dynamic range, then I would recommend shooting in D-Cine-like.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like any other Mavic or something.
Yeah, I would say roughly the same dynamic range.
Yeah,
as
it's
the Mavics.
The Mavic 2 Pro is the exception because that camera has a proper log, has D-Log, and it's 10-bit.
Yeah.
So you're getting way more information on the Mavic 2 Pro. But it's really up there with like a Mavic 1 or a Mavic 2 Zoom.
I would say pretty much identical to the Zoom, using the Zoom for a while.
But the benefit of this one is you have a faster aperture.
Yeah.
And it seems that because they're able to do 4K at 60, there might be a better sensor or a better processor inside of it.
And you can't fit the Zoom in your pocket, so... You know.
I did see some comments on the video with the GoPro comparison saying they wanted to see a low light test.
Yeah, and I actually saw a comment in here asking about the low light specifically. I don't know where it went.
As you would assume, the low light is definitely not great.
No.
It's not amazing, but it's better than I thought. It's not bad, but it's still, it's like an iPhone or something.
And it has a cool picture mode if you want to take photos with this thing for some reason, where it takes handheld 3-second exposure photos.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll help for low light, and it stabilizes that. So even if you're holding it in some shake, it figures it out somehow. Magic, science.
It reminds me a lot of the new night mode in the Pixel 3. Our friend Sydney Diongza, he actually had a Pixel 3.
Mm-hmm.
He let us borrow it because we had to get it set up with an Android because the iOS app wasn't out yet. And I played around with the night mode on the Google Pixel, and it seems to be doing a similar thing where it's exposing for like a couple of seconds and stabilizing it to get all that light. So we didn't talk about it in the review because I didn't have any test footage. We also didn't talk about the fact that it does time lapse. It does a form of motion lapse. It's not a hyperlapse. Like you're not going to be able to like walk around a fountain and like stabilize that and make it look perfect.
We thought that's what it was going to be based on the name, but
motion lapse is not like that. Maybe in the time lapse mode you can pretend to do a hyperlapse.
Yeah. Anthony's asking, I'll summarize it basically, like, do you think there's going to be a 3.5 millimeter adapter or like, something that you can plug into the little modular device?
That would be amazing.
I don't think there's anything out yet
now.
or announced yet, so we don't know, but that I could totally see that being a thing. I don't see why they couldn't make one.
Yeah, I don't see why not. It's all software and hardware, so yeah. It would be cool because this little device here, who knows what this is capable of?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
If they made an accessory with like a little mini HDMI, audio input, like you could have a pro module that you put in here that gives you audio and all sorts of things. I mean, the only things that I would see anybody wanting is HDMI and audio because it has power already from USB-C. So
yeah.
Let's see.
Cool.
I'm trying to see if there's anybody else. Hello, Steve Carpenter. He says hello.
Alex, I don't know how to say your name because it's all consonants, but it's there. So he's saying that there is a 3.5 millimeter adapter listed on the site.
Who said that?
I don't know. ALXMNR.
Okay. Cool.
I'm assuming it's Alex. Are we just missing it? Because I don't see it.
I don't see it. If you could send us a link, that'd be great.
Yeah, do that.
Oh, here you go. Check it out. There it is.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
See, they didn't tell us that.
No, they didn't. That wasn't in. We got like a sheet of paper with just some of the specs basically, and that's all we had to go off of.
So that changes some things up. This live stream is so live right now. So, okay, I totally missed it. It's right there on the site. So, again, DJI literally just sends us crap. They just send us this, no paperwork, no information, no contact.
A little paperwork.
A little paperwork, but like I did not see any of these images. I did not see any of these accessories. So that's why I didn't talk about it in the review. Now we need to make another one and talk about it.
We need to get one and talk about it.
Yeah, so you can get a 3.5 millimeter adapter. Now, it's kind of weird because it's coming out the bottom here, so you'd have to like rig something up around it to like put a little hot shoe so you could put a mic on it, or just plug a lav straight in.
I think that's what they're going for with how it's basically it's a little
because you're holding it. It's
like
in
a
front of
little
yourself.
tiny thing that you stick directly into the USB-C charging point, and it just sticks out about that far. So
if you had a lav mic going down your shirt, and then you had a little bit of an extension cable to at least go up to your hand, that'd be really easy to get better quality audio into the device for sure. That's cool.
Yeah.
DJI also makes a really halfway decent little mic as well for the old Osmo. It's like a little ball mic, and it's like $3. You could easily stick that on the bottom here and just have that dangle in front of you. That'd be perfect. Cool.
Definitely.
So that changes things up. I think we're losing some light. You could probably see it.
Yeah, it's
from the window
literally
here.
getting darker. Hey, Malachi, you want to turn that light?
It's so high.
I think you have to turn it on at the light switch.
Yeah, you're right.
I got the little Alexa thing. I'm gonna plug it in.
So,
and use it.
So fancy.
so we're still here. We're still live.
Oh yeah,
We have 60 people watching.
What's up, everybody?
If you have any questions at all, please, again, say at Kinotika and ask us. Otherwise, I'm going to start wrapping it up.
Yeah.
There you go. That helps.
That's better. Thanks, dude.
Thanks, Malachi.
You're welcome.
Malachi. I think overall, I'm excited to use the Osmo Pocket for the next couple of months on the channel.
Yeah.
I could see us using it. In fact, we actually did use it for 2 or 3 shots that are in our new intro video.
That's right.
So,
Which, by the way, do you guys like the new intro? I love it. I think he made it. He spent hours and hours and hours on it, tweaking it.
I don't know about hours and hours and hours.
Well, you a few
it's
drafts.
like 3 hours.
Hours and hours and hours. 3.
Yeah. There you go.
So, but anyways, yeah, I think it turned out really, really nice. So
Yeah, and that can be something we change every couple months or whatever. I like the old one because it was funny and stupid, but this new one is more polished and professional.
we both took bites at the same
sorry.
time. That was a mistake. Looks like Joel missed when we were talking about the wheel, the dial. If you want to just briefly summarize that again.
Joel, the wheel allows you to pan up, and you switch a little switch, and it allows you to
Change your horizon.
move it left and right. So you can go left and right,
Also
and
has
then you switch it, and it goes up and down.
2 function buttons as well. Lets you, I think you can program them, but what they are in is like it allows you to switch between your 3 modes and then selfie mode.
So, Moigus asked, the normal DJI Osmo can't rotate more than 280 degrees. Can the Pocket rotate more than 360? So let's give it a try. I don't think it does.
It doesn't. It'll go all the way around to about here. How many degrees is that?
All right, you ready? So I'm rotating it all the way to the left.
Nope.
That's it. It's done there.
The right is where it gets interesting. Gets crazy.
Okay, so that's it. But then when I go right, it should be able to at least come all the way around to my face, because obviously there's a selfie mode. It'd be cool if we were able to live stream what I'm filming here.
Yeah.
And then boom.
That's it.
So it is almost, if you count the fact that it can come to this point, it's almost 360, but it's not. It's probably 300 degrees. But it's enough.
Definitely.
Because you can do the selfie mode and, move to the left up to there. So
Furworks, to answer your question, does it have an undersling mode? Yes, it does.
yes. So here you go. I have it on right now. And the way that you get to undersling mode is you just kind of rotate it like so. and now you're in undersling mode.
There you go. That was it.
So you can do tilt, lock, and everything. And it is just so much fun to use this thing because I actually get shots the way I would with like a real gimbal, and I think it out and I get my move. But it's so small.
Yeah, it is. And it also, same way that you get into undersling mode, you get into story mode. You just turn it 90 degrees halfway.
Yeah, so story mode, I think somebody asked this earlier and we didn't really get to it.
Okay.
I think he asked, is story mode stabilized? Yes, it's totally stabilized. And I think that the Osmo Pocket is going to be the best way to get gimbal shots for Instagram stories.
Which is good for me because I've started to really get into that.
Yeah, so everything flips and orients properly so that you can see it in the right direction. And I would recommend shooting Instagram stories like this. So you plug it into your phone, you get the display here.
Yeah, turn it
I'll
towards
flip
them
it
so
around.
they can see.
And you can kind of see here, it's really easy to hold your phone in this direction. And I really don't have to touch the Osmo because, you know, gravity is helping in this this circumstance. So the Osmo is not going to go anywhere, and you can easily hold it. And it's a great way to get amazing Instagram story shots. You get face tracking with the camera, and you solve the problem that is the fact that all selfie cameras on phones suck. So you finally have like a good selfie camera. And it sounds really like dumb. I remember 6 or 7 years ago when the word selfie was like brand new. It was the dumbest, most like childish thing you could say. Like, don't say selfie. It's so demasculating. But the truth is, with Instagram stories now, everybody's doing it, and we're doing it for work. Like, it's a real thing. So the fact that you can actually use it in this mode, and you get, mind you, a mirrored display. They thought it through.
Which is a big deal.
So like I'm actually looking at the screen here, and it's mirrored. So it's as if I'm looking at a mirror, so my brain doesn't get all confused. Most video displays, if they don't think it through like this, it's not mirrored. So when you look at yourself, your left hand goes up, and then it looks like on the screen your right hand goes up, but it's actually just the proper direction.
It's just really confusing.
Super confusing. So the fact that they put all that in the UI here and you don't even have to think about it is really, really great.
Yeah. Unlimited would like to know, would you generally recommend the Osmo Pocket in general?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I
would
think
agree.
if any of the things that I've listed sound appealing to you, and to reiterate, that would be a small alternative to a gimbal. Maybe you own a really big Movi or the original Ronin or even the Ronin S, and it still seems unwieldy, then I would definitely consider getting one of these, because in the right hands you can actually get good stuff. It's not bad. It really is not a consumer only product. It can be,
and I think that's the biggest testament to it, is that it looks so amateur. Nothing about this looks pro.
Yeah.
But you could
it's
get
black.
Yeah, well, okay, that's true.
It could be, if it were all white, I would not like it as much, or if it were all baby blue or something.
Sure. I'm sure they're going to make those eventually. You know there's going to be a pink Pocket soon enough.
But yeah, I think that's the main thing, is like I would totally recommend this to someone like me or a YouTuber especially. And even in the video we talked about, if you're shooting a wedding, like, believe it or not, this could be a really good solution for gimbal Steadicam shots. I don't know if I would trust it 100% yet until I tried it.
At least as a backup gimbal.
Yeah, because there's so many situations where at a wedding something just happens. Like you're eating dinner with the photographers, and then all of a sudden they start doing the bouquet and garter toss. And if you had one of these in your pocket and the Ronin S is like across the room and you don't have time to run over there, you just pull this out of your pocket, turn it on, and go, and you get the shot and you nail it.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's a really handy little tool. And if you're a consumer, or if you're thinking about buying something for your dad or your brother, your mom, your sister who wants to get into YouTube, the full auto modes are easy to use.
Yeah.
You turn it on and you push record.
It's also just a good entry-level gimbal in general.
Yeah.
So like if you
It's a gateway drug.
It's a gateway drug. It's a good gateway gimbal. If you're wanting a Ronin S but you don't want to spend the money on it, or a Zhiyun crane, however you say it, Zhiyun, this might be a good first gimbal for someone wanting to learn how to get into video. Although I did see that you can get a Zhiyun crane too. Bye, Steve.
By Steve Carpenter.
You actually could have gotten a Zhiyun crane 2 for the same price as this, though, over Black Friday.
Yeah, Black Friday. The Zhiyun crane 2 was, I think, $350, right?
Yeah, $350. Yeah.
Yeah. So
but it
was
like super on sale.
And I will say this: this needs to be $199. I think if this, like, I don't want to downplay what DJI's done. I want to downplay. I do think $350 it's worth it because a lot of the pro features.
Yeah.
But I do think if this were priced at $199,
dude, they would
sell a million
off the shelves.
I think they're already going to sell quite a bit, but because it's $350,
it's a little harder to swallow.
It's a harder pill to swallow because it's a niche.
It's not that small.
If you're a pro, it's just kind of like, I'm not going to use that.
Right.
And then if you're a consumer, it's too expensive.
Right.
So I think $199 would be the sweet spot.
But if you're bouncing between buying a GoPro and this anyways, then,
Yeah, I should have wrapped up the GoPro comparison video like this. If you need a small camera, but you're not an action person, meaning you don't own a motorcycle, or you're not jumping out of a plane, or you're not going skiing anytime soon, but you still want something to carry around with you every day, go the Osmo. But if you're a surfer and you surf every day, you ride a bike every day, you hike trails, buy a GoPro.
Yeah.
And an Osmo.
And an Osmo.
Because it actually would be really good for those circumstances too.
Like if you had both, like think about it, you could literally carry your full setup in your pocket.
Yeah.
If you're just out having fun, there you go. That's what you need.
And they both accept audio inputs.
Yeah, with an accessory and then natively.
Yeah, so
Furworks is asking, is it a viable camera with no capability to use the app? So basically, can you use it without the app and get away with it? Or do you need the app? Do you really need the app sometimes?
So yes, you have to have an initial startup with the app. And that was a problem that we had because the only app that we had was an Android app, and neither one of us owns Androids. We're both iPhone users. Mm-hmm. And because... What?
Android.
Oh, Malachi put a thumbs down. I was like, you own an iPhone. Why are you...
Yeah.
But I met Sydney because of a collab that we were doing, and he had the Google Pixel, and it was perfect. So he was able to help us, and you should definitely, by the way, check out his video. I'll link it right now.
Oh, dude, it's so funny.
I love this guy. If you have not heard of Sydney Dongzhen, then you really should, because if you like our content, I think you'll really like his. We're very similar with our humor, but then he's also just way crazier than me.
Thanksgiving video was great.
What are you talking about?
He did. His brother-in-law took him in a ride in a Tesla.
Oh, cool. You can't hear this. You can't hear Malachi, but he's talking about one of his videos. So you should definitely check out Sydney's videos. Here's a link. I just linked it in the chat. That is Sydney's video. So definitely check his video out. But yeah, so the answer of the question is you do have to have a mobile device to set it up. But once it's set up, it's totally, what's the word, autonomous? Is that the right word?
Autonomous means it does everything automatically.
Okay.
So no. But it can solo, we'll say.
Yeah,
without the
and
phone.
we actually in the review there were several shots where we never interfaced with the phone. I will say it's a little glitchy. There's some buggy things with the software, and I hope that
You can
it
change
is a
your
bug.
frame rates, right?
Yeah, you can change your frame rates, your settings. It's fidgety. You kind of have to figure out the button scheme and like how the layout is. It's a little confusing. The phone is way easier, way more straightforward, but it's also a little bit more clunky. So you can use the Osmo Pocket completely alone without a phone once it is initially set up.
Wait, where do you change your frame rates and stuff?
I'll show you later.
Okay.
I don't want to do it now.
Oh, I found it.
There you go. Justice for G7, Vlog City.
Yeah.
Amen, brother.
Alberto isn't here to hear that, but cheers.
Cheers indeed. So let's finish this thing out with some future plans, future things. So we have the Nikon Z6.
That's right.
It's kind of we were trying to get a video out, but I didn't have the right memory card. I didn't have an XQD card, and I couldn't get it in time.
Yeah, it was a whole thing. And then the one that he ordered got stolen.
Yes, I ordered an
weird.
XQD card from Amazon. They put the box on my on the office doorstep, like the apartment office, not my house. It's a terrible idea. It was like 8 o'clock at night.
And he was out of town.
I was out of town. I was in Phoenix, Arizona. I went to visit my family. We were driving home. I got a notification while I was on the road that they delivered it, and they had a picture of it on the doorstep at the apartment complex. So, sure enough, the next morning I went in there. I was like, hey, do you guys have my package? They're like, what package?
Yeah.
And it got stolen. Thankfully, I had amazing customer service. Amazon, no questions asked, just replaced it. So, way to go, Amazon.
Yay.
But,
Amazon's great.
But yeah, we are going to do an official Z6 review. We've never done an official EOS R review.
And we've been using it a lot.
So I feel like we have a lot to say about it. We've kind of gotten to know it pretty well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of annoyances with it. But if you watch our last reviews and you just look at that image quality, I mean, it just speaks for itself. The colors are beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's true.
In fact, fun little tidbit, the Osmo Pocket, or the Osmo Pocket review, the official one that we shot in the art district, it was all shot in 1080p IPB mode. So it wasn't even in 4K. There were some segments that we did switch over to 4K, like the B-roll.
Yeah.
But all of the talking bits were all 1080 because I didn't want to burn out my memory card. That we won't do that often. We're going to probably always shoot 4K as often as we could. But in that circumstance, I think I only had like a 32 gigabyte card.
Yeah, it was a weird circumstance. We've been running around trying to get all the footage for 2 videos.
Yes.
2 videos.
And then we
3 if you count mine. We don't count mine.
And 4 if you count the collab with Sydney.
And then 5 if you count the live stream. So yeah,
Here we
there
are.
you go.
So yeah, hope you guys are happy. Made 5 videos. Connor brought it up. He has a review as well on his channel. Let's link it.
Yeah, mini review.
Connor McCaskill on YouTube. When I was in Phoenix, tell him what you did.
Yeah, I was hanging out with some guy, and he's like, dude, you should go visit this place called Big Bear. And I was like, okay, cool. So 2 days later, I find myself at Big Bear. It's about a 2-hour drive from where I'm at, and
Big Bear.
Basically, it's just the mountains, and it was amazing. And I went on this trail called Castle Rock Trail. Beautiful. I went from basically 0 elevation to 8,000 feet above sea level, so it was pretty awesome. And I had the Osmo Pocket, so I got to play around with it and got some cool insight while using it. And then when I got back here, I made a review. Although I watched it back, I don't know if you watched it. I talked really slow. So watch it at 1.5 speed. There you go.
Anthony Carboni says Big Bear is beautiful.
Oh, yes it is. I'm going back.
Germ Earn, gotta use those Amazon lockers. I know that's a good solution for sure. I should probably do that next time I'm out of town.
Yeah.
Although from now on they're just gonna call my little call box and deal with it that way. But
sure.
Anyways, how would you use the GP7 with the Osmo 2? The GoPro 7 how would you use it? Joel asks.
Like if you had both? This is the Osmo. Are they calling it the Osmo 2?
I'm just gonna assume that you mean Osmo Pocket,
Yeah.
but I know that there's another Osmo called the Osmo 2. But
Right.
How would I use it? Well, I would use the GoPro for action shots. I would use it for super wide angle shots and establishing shots. If I don't have the luxury of having a microphone and I have to have good audio, I would use the GoPro instead.
Mm-hmm.
If I want higher frame rates, you can go to 240 on the GoPro instead of 120. But for everything else, I would go Osmo.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'd probably say 70-80% Osmo.
I mean, there's very few instances that you really need a GoPro, like truly need a GoPro. I mean, the reason why the GoPro has been popular is because it's so small. So it could get places that normal cameras just can't. get. So you could get some pretty unique stuff with a GoPro. But now that the Osmo Pocket is here, that kind of fills that void, and it's a gimbal as well. So now this is truly just for people that are like thrill seekers.
Probably.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, if I want to just tape this to the wall, or I want to like shove it in a corner, or
It's true.
put it wherever,
You could
like,
drop it in your coffee.
this is much easier to just kind of place. If you were to have this, if you wanted to record something and set it down, like, it's just a wonky thing to use. It shuts off after a few seconds. The motors are always going to have to be on, burning the motors here. So, there's pros and cons to both.
Yeah.
They're so different, ultimately. One's a gimbal camera, one's an actual just camera. But there is a lot of similarities, too. Okay, so we got Z6,
Yep.
EOS R,
Yep.
Viltrox Speed Booster came in today. I have it.
Yes.
So we'll do
I'm excited for that.
So we'll do a test comparing the EOS R to the M50 with a speed booster.
Yeah, I saw a comment suggesting that as well.
Yeah, so
that'll be
we
good.
will definitely do that. We have 2 speed booster videos on this channel, and both of them do very well.
In fact, I see tons of comments all the time asking specifically about speed boosters in the M50. So
We'll definitely talk about it. Viltrox finally made an adapter that you can order on Amazon. I did order the last one of 2, though.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, Alberto just joined. What's up, Alberto?
What's cooking? Malachi says, hey. Oh, baby, I'm finally home. Hashtag justice for G7.
That's it. Justice for G7.
Oh, Kinotika, can you move the gimbal with the app? I shot my own wedding this last weekend, and it would have been great to strap it to the frame of the tent and reframe remotely.
Yes.
Yes, with the Bluetooth accessory,
Right.
which I think is sold separately. And obviously, there's a limit to how far you can be from it, but I would imagine that
I'm sure it's somewhat decent distance.
I would imagine in your particular circumstance, you would be able to do that. And don't forget, too, you can do motion tracking as well. You draw a little square over an object, and then the camera tracks that. And it's not just focus. The actual gimbal itself moves along wherever that person or thing moves. So it's pretty cool.
And it works most of the time.
Yeah.
It does lose... If your subject is moving too fast, it'll lose the whatever you're tracking. So
Nikon Z6, EOS R, GoPro Hero 7, potentially more Osmo Pocket comparisons.
Viltrox.
Viltrox Speed Booster.
Cages.
The cages from Small Rig. Sigma lenses for Sony mount. And I think that's it.
There might be something
Oh,
else.
some Edelkrone stuff, too.
Yeah,
It's
there
been
you go.
sitting in my closet, yeah. So we have a lot
Bye,
of
Malachi.
stuff. Bye, Malachi. Everybody say bye, Malachi. He's over here. He's going to work.
Go watch his motorcycle vlogs at Vlog City. They're great. There he is.
Jace.
I'm actually just about to shoot something for the vlog. So.
There you
Oh,
go.
okay.
He's
Well,
go- he's
like I
out
said,
there
he's
doing it
going to
now.
work.
Yeah.
I like it.
How's the autofocus? Andrew Yu asks. It's okay. It's contrast based. It's not going to be like a Canon EOS R or something. It's like what the drones do for the most part. I didn't really do any extensive testing, and there were some moments, even in the selfie mode, where I noticed that the focus was off.
I don't know, and I was going to bring that up too. I don't know if it's minimal focal distance or if it's just losing focus. Like if we're not fully...
If we're too close?
If we're too close to our face. So we'll have to look into that
Could
as
do
well.
some tests.
Yeah, see about
Is it
that.
waterproof? Vit asked. No,
No.
the device itself is not waterproof, but we have found that DJI is selling a case for it that will make it waterproof. So that's kind of neat.
Yeah, it looks really odd, but it'll be cool to see how it works.
The Flex Tilt Head 2. Yes, I have one of those from Edelkrone.
Awesome.
Brazil on the line. What's up, Danilo? Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that.
Yeah.
No, we weren't able to get our hands on a waterproof case, unfortunately. Does it work on an iPod Touch? I'm sure it would if you had the current software.
Yeah.
Make sure to watch Connor's video. Make sure to watch Sydney Diongson's video. Yeah, I mean, for $50 cheaper, I would go with the Osmo all day long. So...
Yeah, I think we're right at an hour, man. So
perfect. Well, we really appreciate all of you guys for being here, guys and gals. I know that there's some chicks in there. We are so grateful for you because it helps with our demographic. Let me know what you think of the videos that we posted. We, again, have links in the description of this live stream. There's an official review. It's 10 minutes long. Very thorough overall review.
It's a great review.
And it's one of my favorite ones, I think, ever.
It's a good one.
It's really good. We shot at the Art District, so it's really beautiful. It has a beautiful backdrop. And then another one at Laguna Beach. Again, another beautiful location.
Gorgeous
comparing
beach.
GoPro.
We basically had a
Osmo.
private beach.
It's incredible. So we're loving living here in California because we can drive to a place like the Art District. We can drive to the beach, which is even closer.
We can drive to Big Bear.
We can drive to Big Bear. There's just so much to do, and it does take a lot of effort for us to get up in the morning, to sit in 2 hours of traffic on the way there and 2 hours on the way back. That's a lot of effort, and so we're really grateful that that we're reaping some fruit of that. You know, we're seeing. I mean, the view count on that video is going up a lot. So we really appreciate any comments that you guys can add to that. If you could share it, it just would mean a lot.
And always let us know what you guys are wanting to see from us, because we do read as many comments as we can, if not all of them.
So we're at 7,200 views already.
That's amazing.
So we're really thankful for you guys, and obviously so grateful that we had early access to the device, because that obviously is one of the biggest parts.
I'm going to give a shout out to Furworks here. He said Ziploc actually sells a waterproof case for the Osmo Pocket.
Oh,
Just
nice.
search Amazon for quart size bag.
Alberto, how did you
Clever.
know? How did you know I haven't slept in 20 hours? Maybe he's just like reading me, because he just got in here.
Alberto and Malachi might have been Snapchatting. That's probably my guess. We'll see.
Well, I think I'm feeling like this is the end, Connor.
Yeah. And
we ate our sandwich. I need to take a nap. Then I'm gonna go work some more tonight. But we're so grateful. Again, I already said it, but I want to say it again.
Why not?
We're grateful for all you guys for being here. Thank you so much. Leave a comment on the videos. Furworks coming in with the $5
man.
every time, man. Every single time. Thank you so much, Mike. We really appreciate you so much. Here's the standard coffee money, lads. Go get some and wake up.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this. I've probably drank maybe 6 cups tonight, overnight, so I probably should stop.
Yeah. You need to go to bed. You don't need any more coffee.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. Well, again, hit us up on the comments on the video. Let us know what you want to see. You can follow me on Twitter at Dave Altizer and Connor at
Connor_McCaskill
on Instagram. He's an Instagrammer.
Yeah, I don't.
Or Twitter, but
don't tweet me.
yeah. But hope you guys enjoyed the videos that we made for you, and we're gonna go get some sleep.
Yeah. So good morning, good afternoon, and good night.
Good night. See you guys.